It always begins without warning. I am walking slowly outside the temple when the first drop of rain touches my sleeve. Just one. Light. Almost nothing. But I notice it. In that moment, I stop. Not because I must, but because I want to feel the moment. The cloth of my sleeve grows darker where the drop touched it. I look at it for a while. It is not important. And yet, it is. Rain in Japan does not shout. It whispers. That first drop says, "I am here," and I listen. I stand under the open sky. I do not rush to find shelter. I simply let the next few drops fall where they wish. On my head, on my hands, on the earth. Each drop has travelled far to be here. From sea to cloud to sky. It did not hurry. It did not struggle. It simply followed its path. When I was younger, I would hurry in the rain. I would feel uncomfortable, even a little angry. But now, I try to do the opposite. I slow down. I welcome it. This first drop teaches me something simple, that something so small can bring me back to the present, to here, to now. It is not dramatic, it is not exciting, but it is real. Many people think peace must be found in special places, but I think it often comes in small, quiet ways, like a drop of rain on a monk's sleeve. So I walk on, one step at a time, and the rain begins to fall a little more. I say nothing, I just keep walking. When rain begins to fall more steadily, I often step off the stone path and onto the soil. The sound changes there. No longer the sharp tap of rain on tile or wood, but a soft, deep rhythm. Water meeting earth. I stand still and listen. There is a quiet conversation happening beneath me. Each drop touches the ground, and the ground accepts it. No rejection, no resistance, just a natural meeting. In that moment, I realize something important. The earth does not judge the rain. It does not say, "You are too much," or "You are too little." It simply takes what is given and becomes something new. Mud, perhaps, or nourishment for a tree. This is not weakness. It is strength of a different kind, a quiet strength that changes slowly, with time. I sometimes think people forget how to be like the earth. We are quick to decide what we like, what we don't. Quick to say yes or no, good or bad. But what if we allowed life to fall upon us, like rain, and simply received it? What would grow from that? The rain continues. I feel it soaking into my sandals. Cold at first, then familiar. I do not move. I let my feet touch the wet ground. I imagine the water moving down into the roots of old trees nearby. Trees that have stood longer than I have been alive. Water and earth do not argue. They do not hurry. They meet, they mix, and they become something whole. I try to remember this as I breathe in the cool air. The quiet continues, and I walk again, slowly, softly, as if I too am part of that conversation. When the rain begins to fall harder, it finds the old roofs of the temple. The sound it makes is unlike any other. A soft tapping, gentle but steady, like the quiet beat of a distant drum. It does not demand attention. But if you listen, truly listen, you begin to hear something deeper. To me, that sound is the sound of time. These roofs have stood for many decades, some for centuries, wood shaped by hand, placed with care, repaired again and again by those who came before me. Each drop of rain that lands on them is a visitor, but also a reminder of how much has passed and how much continues. When I was younger, I listened to rain for comfort. Now, I also hear memory in it. The roof remembers every storm it has held, every season it has survived, every monk who has walked under it, thinking thoughts like mine, or very different ones. I sit under the eaves and listen. The rain falls, and the roof speaks. not in words, but in rhythm, a rhythm shaped by age, by weather, by care. It reminds me that nothing lasts forever, yet everything leaves a mark. Even water, the softest thing, can shape wood and stone over time, and so can we, through our actions, our kindness, even our mistakes. I run my fingers along the edge of a wooden beam. It is smooth, worn by years of wind, sun and rain. I feel a connection, not just to nature, but to history. Rain on a temple roof is not just sound. It is a story told again and again, each time a little different, but always true. There is a special silence that lives in the temple garden when it rains. Not the silence of nothing, but the silence of everything listening. The stones do not move, the trees do not speak, but they are not asleep. They are simply being, and the rain, falling gently across their surfaces, brings out a kind of quiet presence. I walk slowly through the garden, and it feels as though the garden walks with me. The moss glows darker in the rain. The colours deepen, not just green, but many shades of green, soft and alive. The rain makes everything clearer, but not louder. It teaches me that beauty does not need to announce itself. In dry weather, the garden is also beautiful, of course, but in the rain, it becomes more inward, more humble. The leaves do not reach for attention, the rocks do not shine. They accept the water with grace, and this grace fills the space. I stop in front of a small stone lantern, one that has no candle inside. It does not need one. The rain itself is enough. It washes over the top, slowly finding its way down. I feel no desire to speak, even to myself. The silence is full. It is not empty. Many people fear silence. They try to fill it with words, music, noise. But the garden shows me that silence can be a companion, not an absence. It can hold meaning, just like a bowl holds water. In the rain, the garden teaches without effort. It does not explain. It does not try. It simply is. And in its quiet, I begin to feel more whole. People often say that rain is like the sky crying. I understand that. It falls gently, slowly, sometimes heavily, like tears. But I do not think the sky is sad. I stand in the open courtyard and look up. The clouds are thick and grey, moving slowly. Water falls from them, steady and soft. There is emotion in it, yes, but not sorrow. It feels more like release. Sometimes we carry too much inside, feelings we cannot name, worries we cannot solve. Over time they become heavy, like clouds full of rain. But when they finally fall, there is peace. I have cried before, not because I was weak, but because I needed to let go. The rain reminds me that crying is not always sadness. It can be cleansing. It can be healing. Just like the sky, we also have our storms, but they pass. I watch the rain touch the ground, fall on leaves, drip from the edge of the roof. Everything receives it without fear. The trees do not hide. The flowers do not run. They open. They bend. They welcome the water. I think we can learn something from this. When life becomes too heavy, we don't need to be ashamed of how we feel. We can let it fall. We can allow it to move through us. And when the rain is done, the sky is often clearer. Not because it was never cloudy, but because it allowed itself to release. So I keep watching, quietly, without trying to change anything. The sky cries, but not with sadness, just with truth. As the rain continues, I walk past the stone steps near the back of the temple. They are old, smooth from many years of use. When wet, they release a scent I know well. It rises gently, not strong, but deep, earthy, clean, and honest. The smell of wet stone is not something people often talk about. It does not stand out like flowers or incense, but it has its own quiet presence. It reminds me that the world is alive in more ways than we can see. I stop and breathe in slowly. The scent brings back memories, but also something more than memory. A feeling of place, of time, of being exactly where I am. When the stone is dry, it holds its scent quietly. But when rain comes, it opens. Like us, perhaps. Sometimes we need something, some gentle pressure from life, to open what is hidden inside. Not to break us, but to remind us of what we carry. There is something honest about a wet stone. It does not pretend to be more than it is. It holds water. It shines for a while, and then it dries again. It does not cling. It does not resist. I run my hand along the surface of the stone. It is cool and a little rough. The water clings to my skin. I do not wipe it away. I let it stay. In this simple moment, I feel connected to something older than myself. The stone has seen rain long before I was born, and it will see rain long after I am gone. It does not need to speak to be understood. Its scent, in the rain, says enough. The rain falls harder now. The small gravel path that winds through the temple grounds begins to disappear. Water gathers in the low places, turning clear lines into soft pools. The way forward is no longer clear, but still, I walk. There is something strange and beautiful about walking a path you can no longer see. It asks for a different kind of trust, not in the ground itself, but in your own steps. I lift my foot and place it carefully, feeling the shape of the land beneath the water. I do not rush. In dry weather, the path tells you where to go. In the rain, it becomes quiet. It does not guide you. It invites you. Sometimes in life, we look for signs, clear directions, answers. But there are times when the path is hidden, and we must move forward anyway. Not because we are certain, but because we are present. The rain makes each step slower. I become more aware of my balance, my breath, the sound of water around my feet. I cannot see far ahead, but that is all right. I am here. There is a strange peace in not knowing exactly where the next step will land. It teaches me that control is not always the goal. Sometimes it is enough to simply remain with each moment, one after another, like footsteps in the rain. The path is still there, even when I cannot see it, just as the way forward in life is still there, even when we feel lost. The rain does not erase the path, it only covers it for a while. So I walk, carefully, calmly, and the ground receives each step, just as it always has. Rain has a sound, but it also has a silence. As I walk along the temple edge, I begin to notice that the sound is not just around me, it is also within me. The drops hit the roof, the trees, the stones. Each one makes a soft noise, different but connected. But after some time, I stop hearing the sound in the usual way. Instead, I feel it. It becomes part of the space, part of me. There is a kind of listening that goes beyond the ears. It happens when you are not trying to listen. You are simply open, like a bowl that catches water without effort. I remember times in my life when I listened only to reply, to give answers, to be right. But now, I try to listen without needing to speak. Not just to people, but to the world. The wind, the water, the trees, they do not speak like we do, but they are not silent. Rain teaches this gently. If you stop and let it surround you, it slowly begins to say something. Not in words, but in rhythm, in feeling. A kind of message without a message. I stand under a tree, its wet branches above me, and I let my thoughts grow quiet. Not because I force them to, but because the world around me is speaking in its own way. Sometimes we don't need more information. We need more presence. A deeper kind of listening, not just with the mind, but with the whole body. The rain continues. I hear it. But more than that, I feel that I am hearing, without needing to understand, and somehow that is enough. Rain is always moving, falling from the sky, sliding down leaves, running along the stones. It never stops. And yet, in the middle of all this movement, I begin to notice something unexpected: stillness. Not outside, but inside. I sit beneath the temple gate, watching the rain fall in every direction. The wind shifts it slightly. Some drops fall straight down, others dance to the side. It's beautiful, always changing, but while I watch it move, I do not feel pulled in many directions. I feel calm. It's like the center of a turning wheel. The outside spins quickly, but the center is quiet, unmoving. Life is often like the rain. So much is happening. Work, family, news, plans, problems, all moving, falling, shifting. But somewhere deep within us, there can be a quiet place, a still point. Rain helps me remember that place, not because it gives answers, but because it slows everything down. It fills the world with gentle motion, and somehow that motion points me back to quiet. The sound of the rain is steady. My breath follows it. In, out, in, out. I am not doing much, just sitting, just noticing, and in doing so I find I am more alive. It is strange how movement can reveal stillness, like how the moon reflects in a rippling pond, not because the water is still, but because it holds something still within it. The rain does not stop, the world does not stop, but for this moment I do not need it to. I close my eyes. The rain continues, but inside there is space, a place that moves with nothing and yet contains everything. After walking through the rain, I return to my room and prepare a simple cup of tea. Steam rises gently as the water meets the leaves. The sound of rain is softer now, tapping on the wooden shutters. The world outside is wet and full of motion, but inside this small cup, everything is quiet. I hold the cup in both hands and wait, not because I must, but because I choose to. The warmth touches my fingers before it reaches my lips. I breathe in the soft scent, earthy, clean, familiar. Then I take a slow sip. The tea is not special. It is not expensive, but in this moment it feels complete. I am not looking for more. I am simply here, sharing space with the rain and the tea. In life, we often want things to be different, more exciting, more perfect. But sometimes, a cup of tea on a rainy day is all we need, not because it changes the world, but because it helps us accept it. The rain continues. I hear it more clearly now, not because it is louder, but because I am quieter. This tea does not solve any problems. It does not fix anything. But it reminds me that peace is not something I must chase. It is something I can notice, even in small things. I look at the cup, half full now. Outside, the rain touches every leaf, every roof, every stone, and inside the tea warms me in a way that no fire could. In this rainy world, I do not need to escape. I only need to be present. And for now, this tea is enough. At the edge of the temple grounds, there is a small river. Most days it flows quietly, winding through stones and under trees. But on rainy days, something changes. The rain joins the river, drop by drop, and the water rises. It moves faster, stronger. I stand on a wooden bridge and watch the meeting. Rain from the sky, river from the land. Two different journeys, now flowing as one. There is no struggle between them. The rain does not resist the river. It does not try to stay separate. It falls, it touches, and then it becomes part of something larger. I think about how we, too, often carry pieces of ourselves like raindrops, separate, small, alone. Our thoughts, our experiences, our worries. But sometimes, when we let go of trying to hold everything apart, we find we can also join something greater. The river never says, This is my water and that is not. It accepts what comes. Rain, leaves, even stones. It takes everything in and keeps moving. As I watch the rain disappear into the current, I feel no sadness. The drops are not lost. They are transformed. Maybe this is how we grow, not by holding on to who we think we are, but by allowing ourselves to become something more, to merge, to connect, to flow. The rain falls harder now. The river speaks louder. And yet, it does not feel wild. It feels alive. I stay on the bridge a little longer, letting the water pass beneath me. I don't try to understand everything. I simply witness it. Rain meets river, and in that meeting, I see something of myself. Sometimes, I believe the rain does not fall only from the sky. It also rises from within us. The world outside becomes a reflection, showing us what we often ignore inside. As I look through the open window, the glass is covered in small drops. Each one catches light, moves slightly, then slides down. I see my reflection in the glass, broken into many pieces by the water. Not clear, but true. The rain does not lie. It shows the world as it is, blurred, changing, full of movement. And in that unclear image, I see something real. My mind is not always calm. My heart is not always steady, but neither is the world. On sunny days, it's easy to pretend that everything is fine, bright, simple, under control. But in the rain, the hidden parts come to the surface, feelings we put away, thoughts we avoid. The sky opens, and so do we. I sit on the wooden floor and watch the rain slide down the window pane. I don't try to clear it. I don't need a perfect view. Sometimes it's okay to see the world in pieces, because that's how we often feel inside. And yet, even in that broken image, there is beauty, the way the light bends, the way the drops gather and fall. Nothing is missing, only moving. The rain outside becomes a mirror, not of how things look, but of how things are. Honest, gentle, always changing. I close my eyes for a moment, not to escape, but to notice what rises within. The sound of rain fills the room, and I feel seen, not by another person, but by the world itself. I've often been asked, why does it rain? People want reasons, scientific, emotional, spiritual. But when I watch the rain, especially at its quietest, I feel it may not need a reason at all. It simply falls. It does not ask for permission. It does not wait for approval. It does not wonder if it is useful, or beautiful, or wanted. It appears, stays for a while, then goes. I sit on the steps of the temple and let this thought stay with me. The world moves without needing a purpose I can name. Trees grow, waves crash, wind passes through empty spaces, and rain falls, not because it must, but because it does. We live in a world where we are always searching for meaning. We want to know why we feel what we feel, why things happen as they do. But sometimes there is no answer that fits into words. Some things are simply part of the flow. Like the rain, it touches everything. Rooftops, rivers, the back of my hand. Without asking, without explaining. And still it brings change. It softens the hard ground. It fills the air with life. It teaches quietly, without intention. I look up at the sky, grey and full. I feel no need to define it. I just let it be. And in doing so, I feel more at peace. Maybe the rain does not fall for a reason. Maybe it just falls, and maybe that's enough. So I sit a little longer, not waiting for anything to happen, not trying to understand everything, just letting the rain fall, as it is, as I am. The rain does not last forever. It comes, it stays, and then, quietly, it goes. The sky begins to open. Light returns gently, not suddenly. The wet stones dry. The leaves shine with a soft glow, and the air feels clean, as if something has been released. I step outside once more. The ground is still damp. Small puddles remain. Birds begin to return to the trees. Nothing dramatic has changed, and yet everything feels different. That is the quiet power of rain. It changes the world without force, and when it leaves, it gives space for something new. I think we are also like this. We pass through storms in our lives, some heavy, some light, and when they end, we are not the same. We carry something with us, not always visible, but always real. As I stand in the open air, I feel thankful, not just for the clear sky, but for the rain that came before it. Without it, I would not have seen so deeply. To those of you who have walked with me through these words, I offer my deepest gratitude. Whether you watched in silence, shared a comment, offered a kind message, or supported this space through likes, membership, or other quiet ways, please know that it means more than I can say. It is a gift to be able to share these reflections with you. Not to teach, but to simply be together, like two people listening to the same rain. May you find gentle moments in your own life, even on cloudy days. And if these videos have brought you a little calm, I am truly grateful. Until next time, may the rain fall kindly on your path.